everyone. Welcome to the Urban Sewing Society, where we bring fashion and creativity to your neighborhood. My name is Jen and I am the Urban Sewist. Thank you so much for joining today. I know it's been a while. Oh my goodness. It has been so much going on for the last 6 months of my life, and I cannot wait to share that with you. If you've been following me on Instagram, then you know about a lot of the changes that happened over the last 6 months. If this is your first time joining, please hit that subscribe button below so that you can stay up to date on all of our current projects. And for those of you who are new subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing, even though I haven't pushed out a lot of content in the last few months. So today I'm really excited about this upcycle. This is an upcycle that I created in the intention of showing you how to put a new sleeve on a jacket. Well, it ended up being way more than that because I had a bunch of things that I wanted to incorporate into this jacket, and I was trying not to go overboard. I hope I didn't, but I really like the way it turned out. So you want to start off with a basic blazer that kind of fits you. It can be a little bit bigger because you're going to make the adjustments within the blazer in order to make it fit you better. So you want to start off with a basic blazer. For me, I had the blazer. I also had 2 lace dresses that I really liked. I liked the lace on the dress. I didn't really like the dresses, but I liked the lace on the dresses. When I saw them in the store, I thought, wow, this would really look nice if it was incorporated into another garment. And then a friend gifted me a lace top. It's like, thank you. I appreciate that. So I wanted to incorporate that into it as well. So I think I did okay. All right, let's get started and jump right into it. The first thing you want to do is lay the jacket out along with the lace pieces that you have. So whether that's lace dresses or other lace garments, you want to kind of play around with them a little bit. I realized as I started laying the fabric out that I knew that this floral lace dress would look great on the sleeves. So then the next step is to remove the sleeves from the jacket. I'm using my scissors here, but I strongly recommend using your seam ripper. You would get probably an easier, cleaner deconstruction in this portion, but I used my scissors and I was able to separate the lining as well as the interfacing and the main fabric. And so you want to do that on both sides. Next, you want to take in the jacket on the sides to make sure that it will fit properly. So I took mine in quite a bit because the jacket was about 2 sizes too big for me. And then the next thing you want to do after you pin it is to try it on to make sure that the jacket fits, because that's when you can make the rest of your adjustments. And so I'll lay the jacket out flat so that you can see how it's pinned, and then you just want to sew those side seams. And then the back of my jacket had a bit of a design feature in the back that really helped me decide what I was going to do with the rest of the lace. So the next step is to deconstruct the lace dresses or the lace pieces that you have. Now, if you're just using lace from the store or leftover fabric that you have, then you obviously don't need to do this step. Now, since I was going to use the floral lace for the sleeve, I used an old sleeve pattern that I had used for a dress that I made not too long ago, and I cut that out. And then I took the sleeves from the jacket and I cut those about 3/4 of the length down because I want to create a Victorian sleeve. Took the bottom part of the sleeve in because I wanted it to fit my lower arm. It was obviously a little too large, so here you see me trying it on, and I like the way it fit. My hand fits through it pretty comfortably, so I'm ready to go on to the next step. Now here we'll continue to work on the sleeves. I basted it across the top of the sleeve, and then I put it on the dress form just to see how long the sleeve was going to be. And it's good because I still have room to put the bottom part of that sleeve on it. Now I'm sewing down the inside seams of the sleeve. I've gathered the top of the sleeve cap and I'm pulling that basting thread through to create the gathers across the top of the sleeve. Now, depending on the amount of fullness that you want, you can make a lot of gathers or, not a lot of gathers. It's really your preference, but I wanted mine to be really, really full at the top. So that's what I'm doing here. You may have a little less or a little more. And then you can see I put my hands inside of there and I've got this nice poofy sleeve that's going to be happening. And so the next step is to take the sleeve, put it inside of the armhole and begin to pin it. Now my fabric was really, really thick, so I had to be very careful pinning that. And then I took it to the sewing machine and sewed it. Now the next step is to take the lace pieces that you have and decide how you want to place them on the front of the jacket. So you see here, I have the one lace piece that I laid out flat. And I realized it fit perfectly across the front of the jacket and the side. So what I did was I put pins all over the lace because I did not want it to move. I didn't want to have gaps and ripples in the lace, because what I'm going to do is go to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew the lace directly on top of the jacket. I found this was the best way to do it. Even if you have to run stitches across the middle to keep it from moving. And so I'm just flipping it over and I'm pinning the rest of the lace on the back, the front, and the sides. And now I'm going to the other side. So here you can see where I'm pointing out where I'm going to stitch on top of the lace. As you can see, I've already stitched down the side, but I'm also going to run a stitch straight down the front. And in that middle section, that's where I'm going to cut out and make that cutout that you saw. All right, so here we're going to the sewing machine and I'm going to show you this kind of tedious bit of the process where I am sewing on top of the lace. I guess these are like lace eyelets. And so I'm literally sewing, keeping the needle down, turning the fabric, lifting the foot, turning the fabric, and then lowering the foot and sewing right on top of the lace. And the pins are really important because they keep the lace from moving around, but this is a bit of a tedious process. And the reason why you want to do it this way is to make sure that you have a really clean edge. And you'll see why important this is. Now, you can sew this by hand if you want to, but for me, it was faster to do it this way. And I use a large stitch, so I might have my stitch length on like a 4 or 5, but I'm sewing very slowly because sometimes the lace gets caught in between the foot. All right, so now that I've sewn all the way around, now I am going to cut the lace along the lace design that's there, because that way I won't have any fraying, I won't have any loose edges. And so I'm just showing you now the process of how I cut that that opening in the front of the jacket. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the whole video for where I cut the rectangle open, but I made sure that I was holding the fabric and the lace underneath was loose so that I could cut a nice clean triangle on the inside of the jacket. The next piece is the back of the jacket, and I decided I wanted to use that lace top that my friend gifted me, and I wanted to make a lace peplum. Fortunately, this piece of lace had very clear, distinct scalloped edges, and I was able to cut around those scalloped edges, lay the jacket out flat, and then pin that lace to the back of the jacket. Now, for some of you, this lace might be extra and way too much, and that's fine. You don't have to add that, but I like the design feature. I put it on my dress form, and I had to maneuver the lace around a little bit because it was a little bunchy in the center and I wanted it to be evenly spread throughout. So here you see I connected the bottom part of the sleeve that I'd removed from the original sleeve of the jacket to my puff sleeve. Now the bottom of that black and white lace dress had a nice clean edge, and I really wanted to keep that edge and I wanted to show that finish. So I took my puff sleeve and I pinned it to the top, on top of the sleeve. And that's where I'm going to sew, right on top of the sleeve. So you might decide that you want that on the inside, so you would basically flip it and stitch it on the inside instead of the outside. But this was just my preference. And here's my final step. So as you know, I had those lace cutouts on the inside of the jacket. I used seam binding around the edges of the jacket that I cut out because I wanted to have a nice clean finish on the inside. It's really, really important to me, and as I was taught early on in my sewing days with my great grandmother, your garment should look as nice on the inside as it does on the outside. And this was a nice touch. All I can say is I am really thrilled with the way this jacket came out. I love the big poofy sleeve. I love the cutouts in the front. As you can see, I put some little rhinestone buttons on the front to give it a little more bling. I paired the jacket with some cropped pants that I thrifted not too long ago and haven't worn them, but I thought this was a great opportunity. I also plan to wear this jacket with a mini skirt and some black heels. I just really love the way it all came together, and the vision that I had in my head came out, and I love it. So I hope this was inspiring to you and gave you some ideas, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.